Joe, congratulations on signing a new deal here. How do you feel to be staying on as both a player and a goalkeeping coach?
Yeah, delighted. I think I've said previous what the club means to me, and you know, I've stayed in the game probably because of the 5 years I had here as a young lad, and put me in great stead for my career. So you know, it's local to me. I've got a good attachment to the place. Lived here a long time, and you know, I think the end of the season was a great finish to the season, and just makes you want to, you know, do it even more. So yeah, just happy to get over the line early, and can concentrate now on getting a good pre-season.
And you showed last season when you played that you're still in top match fitness. How much do you feel you can still contribute as a player?
Yeah, I think I always have, Tom, to be honest. You know, I think the older you get, the more you have to look after yourself if you want to try and stay in the game. So I've done that over the last, you know, 10, 12 years. You know, when I get to your early to mid-30s, that's when, you know, a lot of footballers retire. So I've been lucky, but yeah, just determined and, you know, push myself, try and do everything I can day in, day out to try and stay fit. Don't get me wrong, I've had some niggles over the last few years, but yeah, feel good enough to play. Enjoyed me playing time last year. Would have liked to have played more, obviously, but yeah, it's a massive part of my life, you know, and trying to keep healthy and trying hard and train as much as I can, train every day. So yeah, it's been good. It's been tough, like to do it, because the older you get, the harder it is. But it's something I enjoy doing. So hopefully I can keep that going.
I was going to ask you about that actually. We see behind the scenes sometimes what the fans might not see in terms of how much time you spend in the gym, keeping in that top shape. Could you give us an insight into those processes each day and each week?
Yeah, I try and, so training wise, you know, I try and do some pre-act with the lads if I can, pre-activation. So just to get the body warm, takes a little bit longer at my age, but yeah, and then out and train with the goalkeepers every day. And then I like to come in and do a bike, you know. I feel like I need to do some aerobic stuff, try and get a good sweat on for 30, 40 minutes. And then I try and do some weights most days, every day if I can. Sometimes it's difficult because you're in the staff room as well, so we've got meetings and things like that, so I try and work around that. But it's just something I want to do. I'll do it now. After I finish with you, I'll go upstairs and do some gym work. So I've done it for the last probably 10 or 12 years, where I just don't stop after pre-season. When the final game's finished, I might have a day off, and then I'll just get back into it. So it's nothing too stressful. The pre-season rest for players is the load on their body. So, you know, the kicks, you know, recovering from games and things like that. So for a goalkeeper, it's, you know, we're not diving on the ground and doing a lot of up and downs and springing and using your legs. So, you know, you've got that. You can rest your body, but you can still do your work, your lightweight work, and a little bit of CV work. So that's what I've done, and it seems to have worked. I feel better now than I did maybe in my late 20s. So yeah, so hopefully long may it continue.
Pure commitment. And you've mentioned about what this club means to you already, but I suppose it's nearly 10 years you've been at the club over the two spells. Yeah. What is it exactly about this club?
Yeah, well, when I first came over, when I was 15, it was difficult for me because the team I played for back home, everyone came to England. You know, we had a really good team, and a lot of players went to different clubs before they went to then the club they finally agreed to sign with. Whereas I came here and stayed here. I could have went on other trials, but I just felt so welcomed, and so it felt like home to me. You know, it's listen, Dublin's very close to here, you know, so it's I was listening, this a long time ago, so things have changed, but just the people and the people that worked here, there's still some people working here even at the ground, but the people made me feel at home. I felt comfortable here. I felt close to home as well, and yeah, ended up moving back here, you know, 10, 11 years ago when I first started a family. So back to the Wirral. So it's a place I know, it's a place I enjoy living in, it's a place I enjoyed growing up. You know, as a 15-year-old lad, you're doing your growing up there. You know, you're socialising, stuff like that. So I met some good friends, and still friends with them now. But to come back when I had the opportunity after COVID was great for me. Contacted the chairman to see could I come back in and train. I'd been at Shrewsbury, and obviously the season was cut short. So delighted to get back in, and you know, been here ever since. That was my 5th season now. So like you said, 10 years altogether. So it's just a great place to be. You know, it's a really great club. If you look back when I was first here, it was before I signed as a kid. You know, we were always near enough the playoffs to get into the Premier League now, the old Division 1, and then we had some great days, cup runs and things like that. So you know, it'd be great to get back there. I know the fans would love to get back there, and hopefully that can happen. But there's a lot of teams that want to do the same. There's a lot of money now in football at the lower leagues. It's very difficult. But yeah, it means a lot to me, and you know, I see it every day, everywhere I go. You know, I live local. There's always fans, and you know, I'm chatting to people. So it's great for me, and it's great for my kids as well. You know, they've all grown up here, and they see what it's like to come to the games, and you know, the end of the season was massive for the whole community, the whole area. You know, people's jobs. It was just a brilliant conclusion, I suppose, to the season. Something that we don't want to happen again, and no one wants to see that. But to be able to do what we did was great, and hopefully give everyone a lift.
Yeah, last season was a tough one. How would you assess it, both from a personal and from a team point of view?
Personally, obviously, I played the cup games, and you know, so I want them to continue to try and stay in the cup. So yeah, I was happy. I was always happy to play, and gave Luke a little bit of a rest, you know. And yeah, would have loved to progress in the League Cup, but you know, met a good Leicester side. But it was great to play Leicester, 25 years after the final. But yeah, personally, it's good. You know, I've got to train, and I've got to drive to be ready. You know, be ready, and if needed. And then as a team, yeah, it was kind of mixed emotions, wasn't it? We just got into that slump, and it's very difficult to get out of. You know, I know 𝗦𝗧𝗣𝗣𝗢𝗥, you know, closely. He was my manager. He was my physio stroke goalie coach when I went to Scunthorpe. And then took over the job when Brian Laws left, and got Scunthorpe promoted into the Championship, you know. So he's a great guy, brilliant guy, and you know, this is his team. He's a local man. So it was difficult to see him go. It was really, really difficult at the time, and I know he found it really difficult. But I also know Crosby as well, because he was my captain at Scunthorpe when I was there. Brilliant captain, best captain I've played under, just a real leader, and I think that's coming. You know, it's come to the fore. You know, over the last 13 games, just the organisation and the drive, and you know, what he's got out of the lads has been excellent. You know, like just to lose a couple of games from where we were over the last 13 has been great. So yeah, it was kind of a real seesaw season, and to finish, like I said, to finish like we did is incredible. Really, really good form, top 7 form. So hopefully it's something we can build on. You
mentioned working with Andy Crosby. How do you feel he changed the form of the team last season since he came in as interim manager?
It's difficult, really difficult to answer that question, because you look and go, well, why didn't we do that in the first place? So it's really hard to put your finger on that, because if managers could do that, they'd all be in a job for their whole life. But it doesn't work like that. People lose their job because of loss of form, and you know, the book lies with the manager. So it's difficult. Is it a new manager bounce that happens? But we had it for the remaining 13 games, whereas sometimes you get a new manager bounce for 2 or 3 games. So yeah, just brilliant. Just is making the lads believe that we can do it. I'm not saying they didn't think that under Nigel, but sometimes things just need a change, and that's what happened. If I was able to answer that question, I think every manager, like I said, would be in a job, and no one would be getting sacked. And that's the question, or people would love to know the answer to, but it's very difficult to try and pinpoint it.
You mentioned Luke McGhee, and he'll be obviously extending a stay here as well. How's your working relationship with him here each day?
Yeah, really good, really good. I think goalkeepers are, I wouldn't say a different breed, but we train a lot together, as you've seen. You know, you come out and see us, we're separate from the lads for quite a lot of the morning. So, yeah, like I'm a rookie goalkeeping coach, you know, it's my third season just gone, but I felt as a goalkeeper, I just needed to feel kind of calm, you know, and just feel relaxed going into games, and that was a lot of the stuff I took from previous goalkeeping coaches that I've worked with. So I brought that forward to my coaching kind of philosophy. And does Luke McGhee know how to make saves? Yeah. Does he know how to take crosses? Yeah. Does he know how to kick a ball? Yeah. It's not rocket science to me. I just have to make him feel as comfortable as possible. But Luke is very laid back, which is very, very easy to work with. I think as a goalkeeper, you can't be too intense because you need to be as relaxed as possible. And he's been outstanding. He's been absolutely outstanding. I think the way you look at a goalkeeper is consistency and errors and things like that. And obviously the higher you play, the less errors happen, but the more they're magnified. But he's been outstanding for 2 years. I can't think of any real major errors he's made. Definitely no handling errors, which is a massive plus, you know, from what he's done. And he always wants to improve. You know, he wants to improve, although he's in his early 30s. You know, he wants to improve, and for me, he can definitely play higher, and hopefully that's with this club. And we're delighted to get him re-signed, because he was top of the list to try and nail down, and you know, thankfully it's done within a week, and it makes my job easier as well. So I know he's here, and yeah, we've got a really good relationship. I leave Luke, I just leave him to what he needs to do. I just need to make him feel good and relaxed on a Saturday afternoon or a Tuesday night, and I feel I've done my job. I can push him. I will always try and push him, because that's my job as a player as well. But no, he's been outstanding, and again, hopefully that continues.
Just finally then, what are you hoping to achieve with the team next season?
Listen, this club wants to be back where we think we belong, in higher divisions, but it's very, very difficult. So we need to get, obviously, recruitment right, a good pre-season, and hopefully hit the ground running. You know, hopefully the backroom staff will be all organised, as well as playing staff early. The earlier you get your players in, the better. It's not always as easy as that, but yeah, listen, we want to be the other end of the table. Regarding our finish, you know, like I said, the 13 games puts us in the top 7. So you want to, you know, the lads to really come back and just jump back onto that sort of form that we've had. The drive from staff, the drive from the players that are still here, realising, you know, what this club expects, and yeah, hopefully we can have a good season.